10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Falcon is mission downrange. MOD repulsion nominal. Power and telemetry nominal. Vehicle is supersonic. Max Q.
And a good start to the mission here from SpaceX, about a minute and a half into flight. We'll shortly be hearing the call for MVAC chill as they thermally condition the Merlin vacuum engine prior to its first ignition.
MVAC in flight chill.
Good call there. We'll now be moving towards a few different events in fairly rapid succession as we approach the 2-minute mark. We'll see first stage main engine cutoff, or MECO. That'll be followed by stage separation just before the 2.5-minute mark. And then the Merlin vacuum engine will ignite a few seconds after separation. The payload fairings will be deployed just before the 3-minute point in flight.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
All good call-outs, all good events here that you're seeing live on your screen. The deployment of those hypersonic grid fins.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And those Starlink satellites now exposed to the vacuum of space for the first time on this mission. Next milestone coming up here will be at about T plus 6 minutes and 4 seconds. That'll be the ignition of 3 of the Merlin engines on the Falcon 9 first stage booster for the start of the entry burn. That burn lasting about 23 seconds in total. Those puffs you're seeing in between the hypersonic grid fins, those are the cold gas thrusters at work, helping to control the attitude of the first stage booster. Speaking of that first stage, it looks like it has reached its apogee here today at about 116 kilometers in altitude. So far appears to be a nominal flight for both stages. You can see the second stage now getting a little sunlight on the engine bell. A little more than 5 minutes into flight, less than a minute away from the start of the first stage entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
You can see a nice bit of the curvature of the Earth there, just beyond the entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Nice little peek of the sunrise as that booster continues to make its way towards the drone ship. Of course, I still love you.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Booster flying today is the second most flown out of SpaceX's current arsenal of first stage boosters, having made its first appearance back on November 21st of 2020. Coming up at the start of the landing
Stage
burn
1
here.
transonic.
Beautiful sunrise
Stage
just
2
off
FTS
the
is saved.
edge of the grid fin there. Just about 10 seconds away from the start of the first stage landing burn, when SpaceX will use just one of the Merlin engines to make the final descent
Stage 1
touchdown.
landing burn. Landing leg deployed. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And a 23rd landing for that booster.
And back shutdown.
And at this point, the Falcon 9's upper stage has entered into a parking orbit where it will continue to coast until about T plus 57 minutes on the dot. There will be a brief 1-second burn, setting up the Starlink satellites to be deployed at T plus 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 53 seconds. Want to briefly thank Michael Helmick for a very generous $25 super chat. Appreciate you, Michael. Let's go ahead and check in on our mission stats as they currently stand with the good liftoff and landing of the first stage booster. It's actually the 23rd flight of Falcon 9 booster 1063, the 428th Falcon 9 launch to date. This was the 11th Falcon 9 launch of 2025, the 372nd Falcon booster reflight, or the launch of a booster that has flown at least once. Without any Falcon Heavies yet on the year, this is also the 11th orbital launch for SpaceX of the year so far. The 138th orbital launch within the last 365 days. This marked the 110th SpaceX orbital launch from Space Launch Complex 4 East and the 199th overall orbital launch from that pad as well. Moving on to some recovery stats, this was the 118th booster landing on the drone ship. Of course, I Still Love You. That marks the 320th SpaceX drone ship landing and the 401st Falcon booster landing so far. Finally, with some industry stats, this was the 4th launch of the year from Vandenberg Space Force Base there in California, the 12th launch from U.S. soil, the 12th from a U.S. rocket company, and the 18th from around the globe with 0 mishaps on the year so far. I want to pause briefly before we get to the pie chart here. As some of you may have noticed from our tweet yesterday, the public scoping has now wrapped up as an environmental impact statement is being prepared for both the transformation to be allowed at Space Launch Complex 6 there at Vandenberg to allow for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy launches from the West Coast. At the same time, the Department of the Air Force is also examining increasing the number of launches allowed by SpaceX there at Vandenberg with the addition of that second pad from its current number of 50 to up to 100 per year between both pads. Public input is still available to be sent in through Monday, so if you have a comment, question, concern, or just a note that you want to drop them, you can go back to the tweet that we posted yesterday, and you can find the link on how to submit that and information about that pad transformation. But for folks in and around the area of Vandenberg, obviously this will impact you the most. So if you want your voice to be heard, now's the time to do it. With this mission as well from Space Launch Complex 4 East, the current only pad for SpaceX. This did mark a turnaround record there, as we believe Pad 40 is down for maintenance. That's why it's been uncharacteristically quiet for SpaceX's workhorse pad. Obviously, every now and again, you do need to do some more detailed upkeep, and so that is what we believe SpaceX has been up to these past several days without launches from that particular launch pad. Once again, though, we do believe it'll be back in action in support of the Starlink 12-7 mission that's coming up no earlier than Monday. Closing out our mission stats, this is where we stand with the pie chart. U.S. with 12 launches so far on the year, China with 6. Looking for a launch from New Zealand on behalf of Rocket Lab coming up here no earlier than February 4th. So we'll be adding the next U.S.-based launch company to the pie chart data as well. That's a mission for Kinéis and another 5 satellites to support their Internet of Things constellation. With that, we're going to go ahead and close things out for today. Really appreciate all of you who were able to make it into this live launch coverage. If you haven't already, be sure to click that like button. Allow some folks to find this if they want to check back in on a launch replay basis with this particular mission. And we look forward to seeing you on the next flight coming up in the very near future. I want to thank our Spacefly Now editor, Stephen Young, for running the technical operations of the broadcast. Thanks to our friend Calistio Lee for helping to hold things down in the live chat. Most importantly, I want to thank you for wherever you're watching from today. Hope you all have a wonderful, restful, and otherwise enjoyable weekend. And we will see you next time, folks. Remember, be good to yourselves, be good to others, and we will see you on the next one. And until then, bye-bye.